Welcome back, everybody, to the Dota 2 Champions League. We have some Chinese matches. In fact, just one Chinese match left. 2 games. HGT versus LGD. Should be a pretty fun game. If you haven't quite noticed, if your observation skills aren't up to par, I'm not D2CL, Dota Capitalist. Going to be leading this last series. I was ahead in the office. One of our studios broke, so I figured, you know what? I will just cover the last series so D2CL can go ahead and have an early day. Fortunately, though, I will not be alone. I will have Blaze joining me. Blaze, what's going on, man?
Not too much. Just been watching some Dota all morning and been enjoying it so far and looking forward to this matchup here. HGT versus LGD. Obviously, we could see it go either way. It is a 2-game series, so I'm kind of expecting a draw, but I mean, either one could gain momentum and really take that to the next game too. HGT opening with their Wisp, essentially in phase 1. If they can get the Wisp, they will get the Wisp, and Kaka's been doing some amazing work with that hero, so no surprise at all that he'll draft it up for himself. But LGD's got a lot of nuke, so like Troll Warlord IO, they're really good at surviving against physical damage or just at surviving Durnal once you get the items up for the IO. But early on, Lion and Zeus around level 6, level 7, they're going to have so much nuke damage, it's going to be difficult for the Wisp to stay alive.
Yeah, you know, I would actually, you were talking about how you think this could be just a draw. I'm actually expecting 2-0 for LGD, but seeing that Wisp on HGT kind of makes me think, you know, that kind of gives me some hesitancy to make that kind of call, just because, as you said, Wisp has been pretty strong for HGT in the past. Of course, there has been a lot of hype around HGT. Remember when HGT first came out and people were like, oh, ZSMJ is back? And then HGT just kind of like flopped, and people were like, oh, this team really isn't. And they still haven't really shown that much. I think LGD have shown a lot more promise, especially not nearly as much as I was hoping. I thought they would really come through and just wreck face. They have dropped a couple of recent games. They've, in fact, got a lot of draws in the D2CL specifically. One up against Newbie, as well as another one up against IG, which I think is pretty respectable. Newbie, though, haven't been performing quite up to what I expected anyway. They did recently have a win versus VG Gaming and then immediately lost to VG Gaming after that. So, you know, just things to think about. I think LGD generally has been shown to be a pretty strong team. I would place them about 3rd in China right now. What do you think?
Yeah, I would say 3rd is a really fair position for that. I mean, obviously IG are on a hot streak here, but with the addition of Zhao Wei to the roster, I think LGD is looking pretty strong. They're not the best by any stretch, but they're not too far from becoming that. Obviously, they still have to work out a few things, synergy, but these are some really talented players. I mean, obviously, we've seen Sylar, MMY, Zhao Wei, they performed historically just so damn well, but some of the new blood here, I mean, maybe he's been doing a lot of work, and I'm expecting a lot of things from this team. So I would say for now, they're probably close to 3rd, but I could see them moving up the ranks very, very quickly. And I'm loving this draft, man. I mean, like, yes, the Wisp is very scary on the side of HGT, but LGD going for really good team fight abilities, a lot of damage output, some good disables, and Sylar Morphling. I mean, what more could you ask for?
That's true. In fact, I really love been casting so much Western scene that I don't see Tidehunter at all, but I really like the Tidehunter when you're facing specifically against the Wisp. You know that the opportunity is going to be there for you to hit at least a 2-man Ravage, if not easily 3 or 4 when that relocate gank attempts to come in. If Tidehunter's there to counter initiate, it can be a complete turnaround. And Tidehunter is also pretty good versus the Troll with that Anchor Smash, decreasing the Troll's damage. Then you have the Kraken Shell as well for Tidehunter. If he's the one being targeted by Troll and he hits the Anchor Smash before Troll hits him, man, you're doing no damage whatsoever. Coming out from the Troll is just going to be non-existent. So I like this pickup quite a bit, and as you said, of course, the Sylar Morphling. What can you ask for more, really? HGT, though, going to go for the mid Lina here with a Sand King as their 4-position support. All they need left is the off lane, which LGD do ban away the Clockwork to make sure they don't have that extra initiation and can cause some havoc. You have some pretty mana-dependent heroes on the side of like Tidehunter and Morphling, so the Cog pushback can be good against those. And, of course, more importantly, Clockwork's Cog lock in with the Zeus and the Lion is going to be would have been an excellent way to pick off those squishier intelligence heroes.
Yeah, I'm wondering where the Zeus is going to be. If it is a solo mid, I would love to see like a disruptor follow through on the side of LGD. I think they have a lot of potential with the glimpse play against Sand King, against IO, to really wreak some havoc with that ability in particular. But they're going to go for a core here, so it is going to be either a support Morphling or more likely a support Zeus, and the Razor will be the solo mid.
Yeah, we've seen this a lot of Razor being picked up in the Chinese scene recently. In fact, earlier in the series, we actually had Razor specifically picked up against Troll, and that seems to be a fairly okay counter. I wouldn't say it's like a hard counter, but it does seem to be pretty decent. I think that was let's see, LGD have done this before, specifically up against Newbie.
Interesting. Yeah, and you got a lot of damage tap here. Between the Anchor Smash and the Static Link, like, either the Viper or the Troll are going to be almost doing nothing each fight. So it'll be mostly on the magical damage, the ultimates and such, that HGT get their output.
So now what's our laning phase here for HGT, Blaze? It's...
I mean, I guess it's an offlane Sand King. Like, I don't like it, but I think that might have to be it. Either that or they're going aggro. They definitely can go aggro with this lineup, but they have to control the bounty runes especially, and later on they'll probably still have to fall back to their jungle. But we see Icy, he's got the Stout Shield, and that seems it's just going to be a straight offlane.
Oops. Oh, I'm missing my head. Oh, well. So, well, we're going to start out at least HGT running the full 5-man aggression into the enemy jungle, see if they can't, I was going to say get some wards up. They don't actually have any counters, of course, because the Wisp is going to be going for the fast bottle. That's kind of the small problem with running a Wisp, is that you end up running into the situation where you can't actually afford extra support items most of the time, unless you're really going to be gimping your 4 position. Jump on MMY, and this could be a quick way to get first blood, as they followed up with a stun from Pretty Hot, and they do get first blood for Icy. So he can actually get a quick set of boots here if he wants to, and be a more aggressive Sand King. Or he can just go for that faster Blink Dagger and focus more on stacking up. But as you said, it's probably going to be that the offlane Sand King. How much do you think the
look at this bait. They're waiting. They're waiting for somebody to go. They're actually hiding in this area, and they expect somebody to come through. They have some decent ward vision, and there's going to be Sylar.
Yeah, they see Sylar now, stun him up. Lina with a secondary stun here. Sylar with the waveform isn't going to be able to get out in time, and a second blood going to HGT. Oh, man, fool me once. Shame on me. Fool me twice, though. That was awful. HGT, that was a dirty little trick, and they are going to be running their aggro try with Kaka coming down here. I'm presuming this is going to be more of like dual lanes with the Wisp kind of roaming around. I don't really see you fully aggro trying, right?
Yeah, I think the Wisp will come down for mana every once in a while. Just say, okay, use the spirits, intentionally use the tether, and then give Sand King or Lino full mana bar with the bottle. But otherwise, yeah, he's doing a lot of roaming, a lot of rune coverage, and we're going to see one of my favorite like pub lanes. Like, I've been playing this since the Han days, just going off lane, Sand King Lina, you get the double stun. It's really easy to execute for unskilled players, but these guys, they know this masterfully, and they're going to go in for a big combo on Xiao 8.
Yep, easy kill. Now they actually turn on to Sylar, who's kind of slowed down. He does still have the waveform, but, of course, with Kaka given that extra bit of heal and resistance thanks to his second ability. Oh, Kaka may actually fall the last hit. Not quite enough. Sylar can't get that kill, and now it's going to be MMY, who may potentially, yep, he will fall. Try to hide himself in the trees. Not good enough. Now Icy, well, you finally run out of mana, my friend, and you run out of HP as well, so he will not get out. Fortunately, our Wisp barely survives. Now the question is, does he just feed himself to Roshan, or does he actually try and wait it out for the 2-minute rune? We'll see what happens. Meanwhile, we do have the top lane engagement, Tidehunter versus ZSMJ's Troll. Not going to be too terrible for Yao. Of course, ZSMJ is just looking to constantly be in range for him. Our mid lane matchup is going to be maybe versus our Air Viper, which I'm thinking maybe. He's actually doing fairly well, despite the fact that HGT have actually specifically picked Viper to be able to provide that kind of laning stage aggression. He maybe seems to really be pushing that early power. Didn't even go for the boots first, neither one of them, in fact. When we used to see this matchup, it was always a question, who's going to get boots, who's going to go for the Wraith Band? Both of them go for Wraith Band this game.
Yeah, it's quite interesting. This can be a very even matchup. Sometimes it comes down to positioning, sometimes execution. But yeah, overall the Razor's winning out for now. But you just got to look at this dominance from the the roamers, the gankers, the heroes that can really get the kills early. And I got to say that HGT are already out of the gate looking really strong. I mean, they have a lot of potential to run over this lane. Sylar actually getting hit. Not morphing, though. Knows that he doesn't need to go too far into the stats pool just yet. And he's going to wave out and be sitting pretty low. But the reason Kaka's here, even before the 2-minute rune was bottled up, is because he actually had the Sand King TP to the tier 2 tower, and he gave him his bottle. So got the refresh manipulation, and then once he got the restoration there, he got given a salve by Icy, and therefore he could just stay out on the map and get the bounty rune as he had just started using.
Man, these aggro tri-lanes, like a lot of Chinese matches, I'm seeing like aggro tri-lanes all over the place. I haven't been able to cast much of China lately, but I have been trying to watch or go through some replays recently, and it seems like constant aggro tri and a lot of death balling coming out from the Chinese scene. It feels like pre-TI4 meta all over again, despite the fact it's much different in the European scene. Why do you think that the Chinese scene are going for so much team fight and 5-manning here in this current patch, and why isn't the Western scene perhaps going for some of that themselves?
Well, I think it's a natural progression of the fact that there's more and more greed coming out from both sides of the battlefield when it comes to the rubber band mechanics. You say, okay, we just need to win one fight and my super hard carry will get the farm that she needs. And with that, actually pretty on a bad position, gets caught on the trees. They kind of use it as a bit of a bait, but I'm not sure who will fall first. MMY is low. Sylar morphing up. He's stuck out of position and he will be going down.
Yeah, I just can't morph fast enough, especially with the right clicks of Lina. Oh, no, I said the save! A pretty hot! Oh, he judged that perfectly and managed to get the extra kill out of that one. Man, LGD are just being trounced just like we saw earlier with Newbie kind of beating out IG with that early Game 1 aggro tri-lane. Kind of dumpstered them pretty quickly. It seems to have caught LGD by surprise as well here in this match up against HGT.
Yeah, mid lane, there was a kind of a pursuit. We both wanted to go for that regen rune. Very juicy. Maybe couldn't because of all these poison attacks heading his way, but at least he gets the deny. So now he's sitting pretty low. No regen to speak of, but Air's kind of hurting as far as his mana pool himself. So, yeah, still 25-7 for the Razor. The Viper only at 13-3. They're kind of making up for it on the top lane with the Troll farming up so nicely against the Tide, but yeah, I was not really too farm dependent here. He really just, as long as he gets 6 and has a TP scroll, he could try to stop one of those dives that are happening so frequently down on the bottom lane.
ZSMJ is a bit low here. MMY might just be able to get the kill. If the smoke's going to run out soon, ZSMJ, they're just trying to wait for him to be in a bit better position so they can make the go on him. Tidehunter doesn't quite have his level 6.
He's got so many stick charges. Like, as long as he gets out of the disable chain, he should be able to just use that and get enough HP to walk.
Right. Meanwhile, bottom lane, another jump on a Zhao Wei. This time around, not going to be successful or HGT. They don't have any follow-up. But the Razor coming in, actually, they're going to be able to get 1, maybe 2 kills. Kaka trying to heal up pretty hard, give him that extra movement speed, and man, that Lina just becomes so fast. When you get a tether plus the Fiery Soul, she's just running around at 450 movement speed. Pretty crazy. And the rotation from the Lion failing for LGD, but they do still at least get a couple of pickups in the bottom lane.
Yeah. And the reason this combo is so good is just a short cooldown stuns. You get the 7-second Light Strike Array, you get the Burrow Strike that's only 11 seconds. These are good duration, short cooldown, very spammable, and the Wisp is kind of just providing the mana pool with this bottle. He bottles up every rune, he is able to just sustain the team so that they can go in and just go for kills constantly. They don't have to worry about their farm. Like, Sand King's last hits is 16, it's not bad, it's actually better than Morphlings, but here's the skirmish towards the mid.
Lina, only level 4. They're not going to have the nukes to take down Maybe, so it's going to be a quick kill, it looks like, onto Kaka. Maybe he's actually dropping pretty low the second round of nukes, and just the right clicks, actually, from Pretty Hot gets the kill. I thought he was going to have to Dragon Slave for it, but he was fine. So an easy trade-off there for HGT. Wisp for a Razor, yes, please. HGT, continue to dominate the laning phase as they're winning pretty much all of their lanes. I mean, even the mid lane matchup, Viper is going to be doing, as you said, it's sometimes a matchup that draws out even, and it seems to have gone that way now as the lane has progressed into level 6, the ultimates are up, and Viper obviously gains a bit better of an advantage. You could see that CS has been rapidly climbing for Air ever since then.
Also, is worth noting that Razor's had to rotate a couple of times here, so he made his play down bottom. He has gotten points on the board. He's 1-1-1 on KDA, while Viper is 0-0-0, so that's something, but even still, yeah, the Viper is now kind of hitting his stride, finding his momentum, and he's going to be able to do a lot more, let's say, towards the 12-15 minute mark. But actually, Kaka, in that skirmish, almost got away. If he had Boots of Speed, he would have been just home free. But he opted for this more common build on the Eastern Wisp players. They actually don't go for Boots for a very long time. They go for Earnest Shadows, Bottle, Magic Stick, your bread and butter restoration items, and then you consider the Boots of Speed.
Oh, Sylar, man, those nukes just wiping out. It all comes down to the snowball effect, right? If they weren't getting these kills, they wouldn't have nearly the high levels. Top lane, though, they're going to catch out ZSMJ. He does manage to get the Whirling Axes, getting that miss percentage chance on 2 of them, but it didn't hit the Razor, and that will spell the death of him. Now the TP in from Kaka is going to result in a secondary kill for Maybe. That was so much damage that he stole away from the Troll. 168. The maxed out static link is not to be messed around with. So an unfortunate rotation from Kaka gets a little bit of extra effort to LGD.
Yeah, that definitely was completely unnecessary, unforced feeding, but yeah, it happens, and he still made up for it with his play down on the bottom lane. Do we have a Haste of Viper heading in towards Yao? He has a TP scroll though, so he should be fine.
Yep, IC is coming in with a Bro Strike, but he's just a bit late and $1 short. If only he had level 7 or maybe some upgraded boots. Of course, you're not going to see that. This is about the time that IC wants to just farm up probably the jungle. Looks like
he kills Zeus mid. That's a nice Viper Strike. The Fog of War will give him some issues, but overall, I think he can finish him off.
Yeah, easily picks up that kill, and, well, no, it's actually his Acerman's going to run out here. He's going to make a trade away as Maybe runs him down, and quite easily gets the return kill, so still worth it for LGD in that regard. Icy making his way out of the jungle, but realizes he can't do anything about the Razor by himself. But with the Lina and Wiz coming in from behind, maybe they can complete that gank. Of course, they're being spotted out, though, by the vision of LGD in that bottom room.
So a lot of activity, of course. The Viper did spend his gold, so he's still on track for his mechanism, even though maybe gets a lot more experience out of the deal. But, yeah, just overall this laning phase, Icy actually gets a stun against Sylar. He will be able to morph, but he's still taking a lot of hits. Wave comes out, he's got a full magic stick, and it looks like he's at a decent point, though, of course, his strength to agi ratio is 37 to 31 base. Like, that's definitely not where you want to be at as Morphling, but it's where he has to be with all these active ganks coming through.
Yeah, especially with the Laguna blade now up for the Lina. There's too much burst damage potential.
Yeah. And I think that's one of the key aspects here is LGD, they drafted the Morphling Zeus, and both these heroes are, in a burst scenario, very squishy and very low impact as far as presence in the lane. Like, the waveform does good damage. The lightning bolt, once you get towards level 4, level 5, Zeus really can pack a punch, but those early levels where Sand King and Lina are at their strongest, that's where LGD were just so very weak. And of course, they got some great momentum with the early, even before 0 minute mark, pickoffs. So yeah, there's no reason not to go for this kind of aggro play, and it's favored them quite a bit. Now, as the game draws out, we're going to see Sylar actually get some real farm, and I actually think that LGD has some really good late game potential. But at least for the moment, HGT, if they get their blinks up, they could just run this one over before the 20-minute mark.
Yeah, and they definitely need to do that. I agree with you that I think LGD are going to have the better late game here for sure. LGD at this point in time just need to draw the game out. HGT, though, they've got a big advantage right now, and it's going to build even further. This is the Troll, of course, one of those heroes that sits AFK in lane and likes to just farm and farm and farm until he hits his mid-game stride about, you know, depending your time, anywhere from 25 to 35 minutes in. Yeah, 3-man smoke gank from LGD there. Looks like they're going to go top, see if they can't stop this Troll for a bit longer. But if they don't manage to shut down the Troll, hey, this is dire side with a Troll. You know already with the laning domination that HGT have, they're going to be looking for a quick Roshan. So LGD need to try and consider that now and how they're going to be able to counteract the Roshan advantage, because winning the laning phase and getting Roshan, it is a quick recipe for a quick win here. ZSMJ just barely ahead of that gank from LGD. Good awareness from HGT as a whole. I'm not sure who really called that one out, but it seemed he knew that the smoke gank was coming for him. There's just too many heroes missing.
Exactly. So they don't even have to sacrifice the Troll to get SK his Blink Dagger. Icy's going to have this thing in 200 gold, and then the Roche is guaranteed. Like, how do you actually contest the pit when you have an Epicenter waiting on the high ground? Troll can go in solo. Sylar, not again, man. You can't do this.
Oh, God.
First, but he actually gets the wave.
Oh, man.
Wave, bottle out. And that's that 37 strength that he was running before. That really just, he is running the numbers right there, making sure that he has just enough survivability to throw everything at him.
You know what else that is? That's the 3rd level in Morph over over Waveform.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. He knew. He was like, okay, survivability is key. I actually need to max out, or at least put Morph on even with Waveform, just because if I get stunned up, I have to outdo so much burst damage from HGT. And the problem is, like, as this game keeps moving on, the Lina may actually become a pretty decent right clicker. We already see half of Yule's being picked up by the Lina. If you actually get all that attack speed out, the Lina's actually going to be hitting pretty quickly. May not be hitting that hard, but enough of those auto attacks can actually make a big difference. So even if the Morphling is morphing into strength, losing out on that armor will actually still allow the Lina to do a decent amount. Of course, the Troll, that's when his physical damage really comes into play as well.
Epicenter bottom, Sour, even with all that morph, he shouldn't be able to survive 2 ultimates going right to his face.
Yeah, HGT, they just reading, they're like, well, you survived it last time, but can you really survive 2 ultimates? I don't think so. Kaka, he's got a tether up in a second here, but nobody's in range just yet. Now gets the tether out. Very nicely played. The Ravage goes out, only catching the Lina as well as Air. They stall up the Viper as best as possible, but maybe still not getting enough. Now the Mac goes off in the turnaround here from HGT, especially as ZSMJ now joins the fight. Is going to chase down Yao, the relocate to the side here. They're going to catch more. MMY, they're going to get the stun onto him. It looks like a 4-man wipe there for LGD, as I don't think Yao's getting away. Eventually, he's got to get bashed, right? ZSMJ just not finding the luck quite yet. Phase boots, though, and they'll dive the tier 2 tower for this. Slow him down. No bash required, apparently, for ZSMJ, so they start out with a kill onto the Morphling, and then wipe 3 more with the following up team fight.
That is a tremendous swing for HGT. If they weren't in just the driver's seat of this game before, they certainly are now. This is, I mean, they get the Roche while killing the hard carry, while committing to a team fight. The Ravage does nothing. That's a huge cooldown, actually the longest cooldown in this game, I believe. And with that, there's no fight for 90 seconds for LGD. There's going to be 2 towers falling at least, as HGT can make all the initiation plays they want.
6-13, looking at that net worth, we've got 2 top of the board for HGT, both the Troll and the Viper, especially after that last team fight. Looking pretty wealthy. They do have the Razor right behind the Viper, but the rest of the team, very lackluster farm. Even the Sand King is ahead of the Morphling at this point in time, so they're going to be pretty slow on those upgrades, especially the Tidehunter. Going for the mech, it feels like that was kind of necessary, especially with the big mana cost of mech. We don't see it nearly as much on Razor anymore, but do you agree with it? Was mech really the best choice here for LGD, or was a better Ravage positioning with a Blink Dagger the better option?
Well, for the most part, HGT are going to be taking the fight to LGD. They're going to be blinking in. They're going to be jumping on top. Troll's always going to be right there. So as long as he can try to find like a Viper as well on the fringe of the ultimate, that's going to be fine. We're going to see the Hex initiate and the combo of spells. Viper is tanky, but is he that tanky? The mechanism comes
maybe
out
with the stun! Oh, that was beautiful! 4-man burrow strike. Icy gives up his life to save Air, but maybe they can still turn this one around. Oh, Pretty Hot misses the stun there. The Troll comes in, trying to go for the Morphling, but no bash again. And now maybe just getting kited around a bit. They're going to go for this kill as ZSMJ is going to run down this Razor with some right clicks. He does have Whirling Axes, just barely clips him. Also has range for him coming up in a second, but the stun from MMY will end up saving a relocate. They really want to go for this one. Really, the Wisp Balls, they're just enough. 2 to spare. And Kaka showing his balls here as he now helps out ZSMJ to get Zhao 8 as well. 2 more kills for HGT after a fight that really should have just gone LGD's way with the way they were supposed to overwhelm the Viper there with 5 heroes. Couldn't actually clinch the kill thanks to a beautiful save from Icy.
Yeah, a couple of incredible factors there. First of all, Air has the perfect build to survive that kind of a gank. The max corrosive skin, the mechanism, Aquila, he's got a lot of effective HP coming out here, and then that stun from Icy was just absolutely insane. He's fine on his farm. Like, he can sacrifice himself in every fight from now on and still be fine with where he's at, because he got a friggin' Arcane's Blink here, I feel like 15 minutes in. Yeah, he's doing fine and dandy. They've still got the Aegis, but they do have to worry about the Ravage. That 90 seconds have elapsed, and although it's difficult for Tide to always have the mana for both the Ravage and the Mechanism in each fight, if he does get both off, then the HGT could get turned around on.
Ooh, apparently, bottom lane. Sylar is epicenter. The Strength Morph is still actually keeping him alive here. He's going to try and TP out. He runs out of mana and goes for the TP, but doesn't actually work. Apparently, if you could turn off your Dota TV, Mike.
Oh, echoing
a little bit, yeah. So, sorry about that, guys. Fortunately, will be fixed quick and easy. Yule Scepter up soon for the Lina. We have Yasha, Phase Boots, and Helmet Dominator for ZSMJ. So once he gets his full SNY, BKB, it's pretty much go time for HGT to take all the towers and probably push uphill. Again, we don't want to see HGT draw this game out too much. It's 18 minutes in, and they have grown a pretty healthy lead, about a 5,000 and gold and experience lead for them right now. But they can't afford to stall the game up for another 45 minutes. They can, they're looking to push uphill probably about 30, 35 minutes.
Yeah, but definitely. I mean, I would actually say it's probably going to be sooner than that, but it really depends on how the next couple of fights play out. If Yao maintains a defensive position and uses his mana well, obviously now has the Arcane Boot, so it's not as difficult, then they can still make the fights happen. It's all going to be on at least a 3-man Ravage, if not more. I can't see them turning around a fight with less. And Sylar just going straight for the Ghost Scepter here. Not really going to help against anybody but the Troll. A little bit against the Viper, but when it comes down to it, he just wants to progress to get to a point where he can kill the Wisp, and that's going to be the E-Blade.
MMY is going to be the last couple right clicks from the lead. Oh, the one! But unfortunately, the Viper poison is still there. He did hit the Viper with the stun, and that brings out that nasty corrosive skin to finish him off. So HGT will take a second tier 1 here, as I'm thinking LGD are not really going to contest this. Maybe they'll harass HGT back a little bit, try and just draw some time out for this tier 1 tower, but when push comes to shove, I'm pretty sure LGD are going to back up.
Yep, so we have the Yules online, all the initiation tools now. Blink Dagger, Yules is what they need to keep the fights rolling, and they certainly have just the level advantage, the health advantage, the damage output advantage, at least for now. Eventually, we'll be seeing a little bit more from the line. He'll be able to Finger of Death level 2, which means he'll be able to do it much more frequently. And of course the Zeus, like he's doing what he can for right now. I mean, it's not too bad being at level 9 at this stage in the game, but overall these are not the best supports to turtle with. Like, I kind of feel like the only thing preventing HGT from just marching straight down mid is the Ravage. Right. The Tide pick has definitely made it so that they can delay the play of HGT. But the Zeus, the line, doesn't give him all that much cause for concern, at least until MMY gets a blink.
I do have a 2-man smoke. Yao and MMY looking for a pick off here. ZSMJ, well, that's very fortunate. Just dominated a creep, ran it into that 2-man rotation. And now it's going to be HGT who actually try and catch out these heroes. ZSMJ is super fast, and he's even catching up with Icy. Now getting that lead-off stun onto MMY. The Ravage goes off. ZSMJ outruns it, but you can't outrun the Finger of Death, though. They will still have a successful fight, it looks like. Yao is going to be gone on by both the Lina as well as the Wisp. The TP out, very nicely played. Meanwhile, ZSMJ couldn't actually run down any hero by himself. Middle lane, maybe he's actually going for that tower. Turns on a Kaka, trying to slow him down, tethered to the left. But no, the Zeus is there to make sure that there is no escape for our Wisp. Now, maybe he's overextended himself pretty high. Lands the stun. The nukes are enough to ensure that kill. A trade-off there, 1-to-1.
I really like the play, waiting for the Wisp to come back from the relocate. They knew where he came from, and they were able to get that easy kill. They also definitely put the amount of resources they needed to bring down the Sand King quick before he could FD in that fight or get a second burrow. But all in all, yeah, feeding afterwards, trying to go for the Viper was a mistake, and at least they get the tower deny. It's all not all bad. They're holding their ground. They are able to take the gold off the table for HGT, and that momentum is critical here. Icy's got an Ogre Club. Do you think this is going to be towards an Ags, which I generally don't prefer over Veil? Or do you think it's just going to be the straight BKB to deal with all these spells from LGD?
I think straight BKB. That way you have the option here. There's no disables that go through BKB. So you have the option of being able to get the Blink, Burrow Strike, and then Epicenter, which generally is kind of preferred if you have the BKB to pull that off, just because you can usually get the better burrow. Unless the team fight or the heroes are just really staying in the same area and they're not really going anywhere during that channel time, chances are you're going to get the better opportunity to blink burrow and then epicenter after. That way you set up your team better with that initial stun. Generally, though, you try and go for the epicenter first, only because you don't have that magic immunity. So I agree with you also that Ags much prefer to see the Veil. The Ags upgrade for Sand is pretty damn weak.
Yeah, the cooldown's nice, but ooh.
Yeah, they're going to go on and maybe here slowing him down. Unfortunately, couldn't get off the Burrow Strike thanks to the quick reaction. Now Icy, stuck under the tower, is going to have the Burrow Strike out of the tower range. And looks like Yao couldn't actually go for that. The Laguna Blade almost finishes off with Viper coming in thanks to the Wisp. They're going to be able to clean up maybe one or two. They've already taken the Lion and the Razor. Looks like Tidehunter barely gets out, but Sylar may not be as lucky here. Pops the Ghost Scepter and will be fine thanks to a lack of stuns out from HGT.
Yeah, if Icy committed under the tower, he would be dead, and then it's kind of we have a chance to kill the Morphling for traded for a guaranteed Sand King death, and it's not always the best decision there. So, yeah, we get to see a okay hold from LGD despite not having Ravage. HGT tried to force the issue, press that timing window, and it actually didn't go in their favor on the top lane. They Sand King really couldn't commit the way he wanted to, and we have a lot of tank coming out from LGD now. I mean, the mechanism from Yao has proved extremely high utility. It's been saving lives left and right, and although the unveiling of the Viper's BKB with that relocate was really nice, the maybe's picking one up at about the same time. Like, they're right on pace with one another.
So HGT, I mean, they're not dominating these team fights necessarily. LGD are just kind of like barely keeping themselves in the game at this point in time. So HGT, I'm thinking, just wait out the next Roshan, which is up, by the way. Looks like a pretty early Roshan, which is fortunate for HGT because they want to keep this tempo up. So if they can take that Aegis, they can probably utilize that to be able to push down the rest of the tier 2s. And LGD, in that case, Blaze, do they try and contest HGT for any of these tier 2 towers, or do they just let them HGT have all the gold that they want out of that tower bounty and just go for the split push and try and farm up some more?
Depends if Yao has the blink in time. When Yao has blink, I think you can contest a tier 2, because the blink Ravage is still something that catches a lot of players off guard. He has had the mech for a while, so they know it's coming eventually, but if you get a good position, you can definitely get multi-man Ravage out of that. And the BKBs won't be online just yet. Very, very soon. Let's see. Yeah, it just came out for ZSMJ, and the Sand Kings will be up in about 1,400 gold. So very soon we're going to see multiple BKBs. Yao's got to put that blink to work before then.
It's definitely going to be a risk either way, but we'll see how Tidehunter is able to get those blink Ravages off. Sylar with the Ethereal Blade, do you think this was the correct choice as well, going for that single target burst damage rather than the perhaps more sustainable amount of damage through a stats build?
Yeah, I like the stats and right-click builds on Morphling in general over E-Blade, but in this situation, there's no way that he'd be able to build up that much farm in this 25-30 minute game, at least as far as the critical part, where we're reaching the climax of the game here within the next 5 to 10 minutes, maybe 15 if we wait another row cycle, and Sylar would not be able to right-click for anything, no matter what build he went. So the E-Blade is the right call, because then at least he can try to gun down like the Wisp on the back lines.
Yeah, it's very hard to say no to Ethereal Blade against Wisp. Yeah, was going to be caught here. At least already got his Blink Dagger. There goes the Ravage onto 2. Actually, 3 is pretty hot. Gets caught in the back, but the relocate in to go straight for Zhao Wei. Take out that squishy damage dealer. There goes the Wisp in return. But it's still a win for HGT so far, as they're going to chase down another hero, MMY. No chance to deal with that last axe. Turns ZSMJ just ahead of the Hex. The rest of the LGD cores, Sylar and Maybe, will both survive due to their natural tankiness, but that's the thing. HGT, you see them, they just ignore those heroes. I mean, really, what does Morphling and Razor do at this point? Sure, maybe the Razor starts stealing some damage, but that's still a build-up over time. If you're able to take out the Zeus and that Lion very quickly, without disables, can the Razor really lock down and focus one hero long enough to get the kill? I don't think so.
It's difficult. I mean, obviously, he has a lot of effective HP. The BKB renders him immune to spells. The plate mail gives him 19 armor now. That's not bad at all. But, yeah, as it is, he just can't stay on the same target without pursuing past all the other 4. So it's very, very difficult for him. And although he is the most farmed on the team, getting 8 kills and 2 assists out of their 12, it still is just like he needs to have a control. And the big thing here was the Hex from MMY didn't get in position in time to follow through on the Troll. The Ravage actually caught the Troll without his BKB, but unless the Lion could follow up with a couple more spells, it's still just delaying the inevitable rebound from ZSMJ.
So HGT will now take that tier 2 in the bottom lane, though the Troll can solo push it, especially since he still has that Aegis. So if HGT want, they can go for the gank in the middle lane, which is exactly what they're thinking about. Pretty Ha halfway to his Aghanim Scepter, which is going to be a big upgrade. Burrow Strike to lead up here. Pretty Ha actually slowed down there by the Gush, and they're actually going to turn on to Pretty Ha, who does have to use the defensive Yule Scepter, but with the relocate in, maybe just gets cleaned up as a quick bash. And now the follow-up for Yao. He's stunned up. He may get that little bit of a cleanse, but it's not good enough. 2 heroes down on the side of HGT. Morphling actually picks up the Whisk kill as he relocates back to bottom, but it's a poor, poor trade-off for LGD, especially as HGT will probably take another tier 2.
Yeah, that's going to be a guaranteed tier 2. I don't see them defending this in any capacity, and from there, HGT just have this crazy farm advantage. I don't think they should pressure high ground just yet, but they want to use this Aegis, so they might see. The Aegis is going to be out in a minute and a half, and I think that would be the impetus, if anything else.
Yeah. They could easily get a little bit of damage on the tier 3 if they wanted to, or I guess they're going to play the full conservative route here.
Yeah, the problem is that the line now is a Hex, so Blink Hex actually makes it very difficult to get the BKB off on the Troll, and that's going to be the clutch thing, is essentially the Sand King, he has options. The Troll, with the Aegis, he's on the front line, he's going to get initiated, and it's actually going to be hard for him to BKB before he's below, let's say, 40% HP.
I do like this Blink pickup, though, from ZSMJ. We oftentimes see late-game Blink daggers from Troll Warlords. In fact, I would say he's probably the hero that picks up the latest average timing for Blink. ZSMJ actually gets it pretty early here, I would say. Most of the time we see, a Scotty finished up, and then, it's one of those, last items you get at the Troll, just to be able to close the distance and instantly get on somebody, hoping for that quick bash in the 5 seconds of BKB. Air is going to be maybe caught out. Nice relocate back. Oh, no, the Ravage Bone from Yao. And that is such a disaster for LGD, as now they're going to be able to run him down. They already got MMY's Lion. And, man, 13-27, HGT. They still have a little bit of time left on that Aegis, and with such a great team fight, they are going to go uphill.
That looks like the game-winning play, man. I mean, relocating out the perfect time. Kaka on this Wisp, I'm telling you, he knows how to play around it perfectly. Dodging the Ravage. ZSMJ just goes right into it with that Blink BKB, and now no Ravage. Even when the tide comes up, he anchor smashes and gushes. He's got the mech, but jeez, this is not working out.
Well, that's some pretty fierce hatred there for a replicant. They even ethereal bladed to try and save it for a bit longer, but Siler no longer has that escape and can't play that offensive waveform forward and try and get blowing up the Wisp or the Lina. Tier 3 tower does drop low. They no longer have the Aegis, though, for ZSMJ. The Aghanim's actually 60 gold away for Pretty Hot. That's going to be a huge upgrade. Stun leading off ZSMJ. They're going to blow him up right away. Almost. Still not enough. They need a little bit more. They finally get it with an Anchor Smash. Epicenter is on the mark to be able to kill Yao, as Icy with his BKB should be able to get up. He'll survive long enough to get a Burrow Strike. Nope, actually gets stunned just before the Burrow Strike is up for him. And he does get caught, and that's the danger you were talking about. The Blink Dagger there from the Lion makes the perfect initiation. Who needs Ravage when you've got an MMY Weapon X Lion?
Yeah, it's actually more instantaneous, so it's a little bit better at counteracting him, and that was just really good initiation. Getting tied on the front line, so naturally you're going to attack him. He's got the Anchor Smash out immediately, the mech in hand. Yeah, he can't Ravage, but they have the control anyways, and that's the key thing there. So I would have to go back to 20 seconds before that fight where they put in so much in the Replicant. Yes, it does prevent Morphling from going for waveform forward E-Blade plays, but overall it was not worth the damage they received, and they were quickly running out of steam. So that definitely was what cost them so much HP, so many cooldowns, and therefore why they weren't able to follow through a little bit harder onto the racks.
Now, Blaze, in your analysis, this is normally about the time where we start seeing the transition here. We're fully into the mid-game. HGT have hit a kind of peak, so at this point, Do they still try and push in, or do we actually wait out the next rotation of Roshan, which just gives a lot of farming time for LGD potentially?
Well, I mean, if you look at the clock, it's not too bad. 1 to 4 minutes, they could still wait that out. I would like to see one smoke play before then. If they can get like since they just got the Aghanims on the Lina, if they can get a quick pick off on Sylar, then go for Roche, like that will put them in a really good spot. Also, Troll's going to be able to kill a pretty big stack here. Just got stacked up once again, so that's going to be a lot of farm going his way. Scotty should be pretty much there.
Let's see, Manta for Air. We also have a BKB that's going to be picked up by Kaka eventually. He still needs a good 1,000 gold until he has that. Sylar, his first.
He just bought out. He's going for Scotty, but he will not have buyback.
Wow.
Because he's so low level, it's only 25 gold in deficit, but if he finishes the Scotty, that's going to be the clutch thing, and it's at the secret shop. There it is.
Yeah.
He is far, far away from buyback. 1,000 gold away.
I don't really blame them too much for this because I don't think they can afford to let Aegis and Cheese go into the hands of HGT, so they kind of needed the max amount of fighting power. Looks like Yao's actually, no, he doesn't get the Ravage off in time. ZSMJ gets the BKB quickly, focuses down MMY. They should be able to get that kill. No, ZSMJ is actually trying to get out, blocked up by Air. They need to stop colliding here. ZSMJ, he just wants away from the Razor, man. Air slowing down everybody else, but HGT have already lost their 2 supports here, and it looks like Air is going to fall as well with maybe on that haste rune, easily being able to run out the Viper, and it's only ZSMJ and Icy who will survive. LGD, big win there, as now they're going to be able to take that stack, and perhaps Roshan, timer coming up in a second here. Perfect for LGD.
Yeah, and the big thing here is this Observer Ward. Like, this Observer Ward has been in place for 2 minutes now, and it is just the way they get into that fight. What I believe they were doing was just team farming the Ancients, and then they were going to go for a smoke play back towards the secret shop. But essentially, they get the gun jumped on them. Replicant was forward, so LGD are, as 5, able to make the initiation play, and that's exactly what they needed to do. So they go in, they get their item spike, and now the fact that Morphling didn't have buyback doesn't matter, because one of these 2 cores, they're going to get the Aegis.
Yep, and it's going to be Aegis for Sylar, and don't forget about the cheese, guys. That's going to be going into the hands of maybe he'll drop his bottle. And one of the lowly supports can pick it up. MMY is like, oh, maybe I can keep this bottle. If maybe is nice enough.
Maybe. But we'll see. He's got. I mean, the cheese is going to be really nice for the Razor. Like he's a hero that thrives in staying alive throughout the fights. He's still got this 6-second BKB and now the AC. So magical and physical damage is stuff that he's going to be able to deal with in general. But the one thing that really hurts him is this Lina. Lina Laguna Blade goes right through that BKB, and it would give him a lot of cause for concern if he didn't have the cheese. So assuming he doesn't get picked off right here, he's going to have cheese for that next fight, and he's going to be able to kind of negate that Laguna presence.
Morphling now jumping up above the Viper in net worth for the first time in, I don't know, probably since ever. I mean, Morphling had a bad laning phase anyway, so.
Yeah. I can't imagine a worse scenario for Sylar, actually. The aggro try against him really prevailed. It was able to pick off the Lion multiple times, Sylar a couple times. I mean, it's not often you see 5 deaths on this guy at 35 minutes. Or at all.
Definitely not, especially on a Morphling. They pop the Zeus ultimate, just a scouting ult to see where HGT are at. Also gives them the opportunity to lay down an aggressive ward like this one, which is exactly how they got themselves into this leading position in the first place, thanks to that last team fight and the aggressive ward that they had. HGT going to go for 3-man smoke now after the Zeus ultimate was popped.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
And I like this. LGD laying 2 different very aggressive wards here in the enemy jungle while they go for the tier 2 tower push, really making sure that they have vision and that HGT won't be able to sneak a team fight on them. Scotty now picked up by the troll, but ZSMJ, I'm not sure how he's really going to be able to outcarry this Razor now. I mean, he can't target the Razor because AC and so much armor, but the static link is going to cause him so much havoc. Yeah. Both of these heroes are almost max movement speed when they pop their various, well, actually Drums is down for maybe, so he no longer has that option. Still, of course, has the phase boots.
Yeah. So I think you have to Laguna the Razor, and you have to get your Luna to 16. That's the only way you can actually deal with his presence, because otherwise, not only is he going to be putting out a lot of damage because of the Static Link, the Eye of the Storm, but that AC is actually helping out LGD as a whole. They've got the Anchor Smash damage. Morphling's got some good right-click now, but we'll see who makes the initiation play. Still, I think the key thing is level 16 for HGT. Right now, Sand King is 13, Lena's 14. Those heroes need to have their maxed ultimates.
All right, LGD. Centering up for this fight, they've got Yao hanging up on the cliff here, waiting for his opportunity to blink in. He can jump himself practically onto that tier 3 tower, but HGT are sitting very far back, hugging the secret shop area as much as possible. Now they see Sylar pushing out the bottom lane, but of course they know it's a Morphling. He can always replicate in, so they still have to be careful. What they kind of need is a Scythe of Ice, which is unfortunate just because they won't really have one unless like Air goes for one, which I doubt it. I think he's probably going to go into more physical damage and try and be a semi-carry into the late game, but they really need a Scythe of Ice to be able to take advantage of those Morphling plays. You see it sometimes from teams. If they have a Blink Scythe, they can actually go ahead and deal with the Replicate, and the Morphling has no way in to jump to the fight real quickly.
Yeah, right now the timing window is going to expire pretty soon. No BOTs on him, so that they might just wait it out. Oh no, he pops in early, so it does cost him a bit of mana. He's got this Invis rune. I don't think there's detection on HGT. No, why would they? But yeah, it just comes down to the fight, how it plays out. Right now, he's got a crazy right click, can stay on the front line, and worst case scenario, Invis out of the fight. He'll pop it early though, just for the bottle regen. They're actually gonna get initiated.
And stun, Epicenter going out. Whoa, Icy actually stops his Epicenter. Well, that's unfortunate. Not sure what happened there. Now Sylar's going to try and run him down with that Scotty. They will be able to get that kill. Ravage goes off, catches 3. Nice timing from Yao as they follow up the stuns on his ZSMJ. The relocate out. Kaka does manage to save ZSMJ's life, but it'll probably cost him his own, and I don't think he saves the Viper either, as he goes down before the relocate ends. So no possibility of another tricky play. Kaka easily cleaned up. 4-man down for HGT, and LGD still looking as healthy as ever. They can easily take a lane of racks here, I think.
Yeah, and that's the cheese on the Razor. Like, he just pops it immediately. Laguna Blade doesn't matter. The Epicenter gets canceled. Those are the teamfight ultimates, and they are gone. LGD are just going to run right into this base without any hesitancy. Even if HGT did pop 5 buybacks right now, it doesn't matter. They don't have the tools to bring down 5 full HP heroes, and that is going to be the full mid lane of racks. I'm curious if they even go for, like, a side lane. The top lane is exposed. The bottom lane has a couple of towers defending it, but yeah, they're just going to say, okay, we get that freebie, and we can play this safe.
Yeah, LGD know that this game is well in hand for them. As long as they don't throw it away with some over-aggressive plays, they easily have game 1 in the bag. So HGT gotta hope they gotta go for some desperation smoke plays or something. They do have 1 smoke left. It doesn't look like, yeah, just the 1 smoke in the shop, none in their inventories. So I'm thinking this is about the time. Aegis is down. They've already forced the cheese out. You don't get many more opportunities if you just wait it out. Chances are LGD, well, they're going to get even bigger. But then on top of that, they'll probably take control of the next Roshan pit. So
they were even looking for a Blink Hex down bottom. They saw like 3 or 4 people on the, like, oh, okay, that's maybe not the best call. But any farm with the Refresher Orb in 45 seconds, I would say, like, that's the game, because just Refresher Orb is so good. There are exceptions that somebody could mess up an ability here. They could go for the BKB dodges on everything, but it's tough. It really is. Maybe Kaka can make some cool relocate plays. He's already kind of done 1 incredible play. Actually going to get Yules up here, and Sylar's with him. There's the E-Blade, and there's a dead Wisp.
A little ball light, man. He doesn't stand a chance up against that Ethereal Blob. And now it's, well, 4 stab for Icy. Yeah, that's not a game-changing pickup, that's for sure. And there's really nothing that's going to change the course of this game too much. Even if you had more farm on ZSMJ, like, yeah, you would have a better chance of contesting LGD, but it's still LGD late game who are going to outdo you. Oh. BKB pops, ZSMJ going to try and get away. They're going to slow down maybe as much as possible. Double ulti's laid down onto him. In fact, they're going to turn and fight as best as possible. Yao comes in. Meanwhile, the stun on the Sylar makes sure there's no pursuit there. HGT do get themselves out of the situation, but it's still them playing defensive and not taking control of these fights. LGD, again, nobody really dropping low at all.
Yeah, they're perfectly fine to make plays like that happen, and I think the force staff actually could have been impactful this game if it had come out like 10 minutes ago.
Oh yeah,
like the blink hex is scary, and being able to force staff somebody away just as a little flopping fish, that's gonna change how the game plays out. But it's just dwarfed by that refresher pickup. Like Yao will be able to get his ultimate off, perhaps ×2, and when that happens, it doesn't matter what measly force stabs you throw at it, it's just going to be this like game breaker. It's just going to tear the world in half.
Checking out for that vision, Zhao spamming some lightning bolts around MMY. Just wants to give you a hug, man. Bloodstone finished up for the Zeus now.
Yeah, after he ulties, he can honestly just suicide. Like, you throw out a lightning bolt or two, pop your Thunder God's Wrath, and then suicide for a heal on the Razor or the Morphling. That's fine.
That truly is the most sacrificial play somebody can do in Dota.
Oh no!
Oh dear, Icy. That was
for that error. No buyback. No gem.
That was not the cliff you were looking for there. That's for sure. Now Zhao, he's got the gem, so he doesn't even have to spam out lightning bolts. They're gonna go for the push in bottom lane, and HGT already a man down. They weren't going to be able to really contest LGD anyway in 5 versus 5 fights, and now they are a one-man disadvantage. See what they can come up with here. But without their initiator, it's going to be hard to be able to even get leading stuns out. Yule Scepter on the Lina. Well, there goes one of their disables potentially. Self-Yule Scepter, Pretty Haas still has no way out, though. LGD quickly surround him. Now going to go for air as well. Static Link plus the Scotty slowing him down. They steal all the damage they need now to be able to combat ZSMJ. 1 versus 5. Kaka, he's got the relocate going. He tried to save, but it didn't actually happen. GG. 27-28. And funny, LGD will actually end this match. Oh, well, they tie up and kill scores.
The experience and goal graph tell a lot here. Just going up until the 29-minute mark, this was all HGT's game. They were doing really well. They had an amazing bottom lane, but there are 3 fights that really define LGD's comeback. There's the mid lane. After the 2-3 goes down, they're holding their high ground, and they're able to force them out with a great blink hex, with a good tide initiation as well. And then, of course, there's towards the Dire Ancients. That's where they had the Observer Ward. They jump in. Even though they don't force any disables on the heroes before they get their BKBs, they still execute a really nice fight when they just got the Scotty out on the Morphling, and he was just really gaining momentum. And then, of course, that finisher right there in the mid lane, they were able to make the fight that they needed to happen and run right through the base.
All right, so LGD, I'm feeling pretty confident about a 2-0 here after that rough start. Despite the fact, they were getting trounced for the first 20 minutes of the game, they still managed to make the comeback. That's got to feel good for LGD going into game number 2, but we'll see what happens. Short break, and we'll be back with our last game of the day.